Hello and welcome to the Treasury News. Today composed by Tanzip Nguyen, Hoàng Ngọc Hải Linh, Trần Bích Ngọc, and Nguyen Minh. We are the members of the Group 5. In today's news, we are going to discuss the following agenda, including macroeconomic, financial, and specific banking sector news and analysis. The second one, changes in Vietnamese legal framework and analysis. And the final one is current job vacancy of Treasury Desk in some commercial banks. Desk 1 provides the coupon and other desks receive the proceeds of issuance. A Desk 2 enter into a swap with a client. At the beginning of the trade, there is no gain or loss for either party. Next, the Interbank Rate and the OMO. VND interest rate has bounced up strongly on the interbank market during the following week, having the rates on these terms surpass the average figure from the beginning of the year. At the same time as last week, the interbank interest rate went sideways at 0.43% per year for the overnight term and 0.6% per year for the 1 week period. However, on April the 26th, the rate increased sharply by 0.23 to 0.25 basis points compared to the previous session. Specifically, the annual rate for the overnight, 1 week, 2 week, and 1 month term was stated at 0.69%, 0.86%, 0.93%, and 1.11% respectively. The rise in the interbank rate was attributed to the accelerating demand for the credit as Vietnamese economy is showing signs of recovery after the COVID-19 crash. In the first 2 weeks of April, the economic credit growth was 0.41%. Nonetheless, in the context of upturn rates, the liquidity of the system is still abundant. Therefore, the state bank's open market operations, or the OMO, yet haven't been approached by any credit institution. The exchange rate. The VND interest rate upsurge, or the dong, is strengthening, whereas the USD depreciates against most currencies. This converse relationship triggers a deterioration in the exchange rate. Therefore, the State Bank of Vietnam tends to adjust the exchange rate on the interbank market on the tendency of lowering rates. In detail, the closing rate this week was at 23,101 to 23,750 VND per US dollar. The daily reference exchange rate followed a downward trend and ended the week down 21 VND from which at the beginning of the week. What about the gold price? The domestic gold price was flexible at the beginning of the week. At the end of the trading session on 26th of April, the SCJC gold price in various surveys stored was adjusted miscellaneously at 6 p.m. For instance, at the Saigon Jewelry Company, the domestic gold price was for both bid and ask simultaneously decreased by 50,000 VND per tel. At Doji Group, the buying price declined by 50,000 VND per tel, while the selling price raised by 50,000 VND per tel. In Tu1 jewelry stores, the ask price remained stable, whereas the bid price lessened by 50,000 VND per tel. Noteworthily, in the meantime, the world's gold price showed an upward trend, which was derived from two factors: the ongoing sell-off in the Bitcoin crypto market and the expansion of new COVID infection in India and Japan. Accordingly, on the 23rd of April, the world's most popular virtual currency market plunged more than 9% and to be marked the worst trading week in nearly 2 months. Furthermore, the resurgence of the COVID epidemic in Asia has weakened the prospect of global economic recovery. As a result, the driving force behind the US Treasury bonds, whereas the yield on 10-year US bonds has fallen rapidly in just while the 10-year US Treasury bond yield dropped off significantly, 0.5 on the average. Both of these factors are detrimental to the dollar and beneficial to the price of gold. Next, we come to the part changes in Vietnamese legal framework and analysis. On April the 2nd, 2021, the State Bank of Vietnam issued the Circular No. 03/2021 TTNHTNN, which is taking effect in May the 15th, amending and supplementing a number of articles of the Circular No. 01/2020 TTNHTNN, dated on March the 13th of 2020, of the State Bank Governor of Vietnam on credit institutions and foreign branches carrying out debt rescheduling, giving exemption from or reduction of loan interest and charges, and maintaining classified loan groups in order to help the clients affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The debt rescheduling for clients shall be carried out until the December 31st of 2021. The following circulars 03, the rescheduled loan will be kept in the previous class debt group instead of being applied to the higher risk level category. However, at the end of the restructuring period, the bank must take a large amount of money to set up a provision account, which will diminish the return. To avoid this situation, instead of letting the bank set up provisions for loan and leases themselves, a specific 3-year roadmap has been launched by the SBV for commercial banks to comply. The revision of the Circular 3 are believed to impact the positive effects on banks. As regards the VN Direct expert, the bank's restructuring debt portfolios are anticipated to increase slightly in 2021 as the conditions of restructure debts and tightened while the influence on the ROA is negligible. However, the extended regulation on the allocation of loans and lease provision for 3 years will reduce the provision costs for banks, especially in 2021, thereby raising the retained earnings to support the capital adequacy and to promote lending for manufacturing business. For the last part, we are going to introduce you some current jobs related to treasury management. The first one, here you can see the job description, is the specialist or expert in management information system and assets and liabilities management, or we can call it MIS or an LLM. For the job description, perform work related to construction activities and planning, budgeting and administration. Agree on the final plan before submitting it for approval. Fulfilling the assigned reports, contributing suggestions on relevant documents, policy, processes, etc. at the request of department. Completing other duties assigned by MIS manager and controller. How about the job requirement? Undergraduate, major in finance, banking, accounting, auditing, management, information system, and/or experience related to the vacancy. Having a profound understanding of F&B asserting data. Have knowledge about the business environment, domestic and the international financial markets, as well as the laws related to relevant fields. Experience. Prioritize the experts with at least 1 year of experience or senior experts with at least 2 years of experience in the banking and financial sector. Prioritize those who work with MIS and general reporting planning department at bank. The second one is the ALM specialist at the Bao Viet Bank. Job description. Monitoring daily work on the balance sheet. Assess risk across the entire portfolio of liabilities, credit. Propose timely measurements when there are no abnormal changes and the index reflects the business performance. Monitor variance of market interest rate and bank deposit lending rates, policies that encourage and promote limit bank lending, mobilization, and etc. Manage and operate internal FTP software, control FTP data, and monitor FTP adjustment. Consult and submit to the ALCO committee for approval and business limits. Perform monthly ALM reports, the ALCO and other management reports, performing other jobs as assigned. How about the job requirement? Male or female from 23 to 40 years old. Undergraduate majors, banking, financial accounting, auditing, etc. Mastering the regulations related to asset and liability management, ALM, being able to analyze the market influence on the bank's ALM. Being careful, hardworking, responsible, and can work under pressure. Thanks for watching our news.